Building a shop is undeniably a massive investment. Designing one is also a huge undertaking. Now, the building you see right behind me cost $114,000, but the base cost of that building was actually only $36,000, meaning we have 78 extra grand into this. And basically those extra costs turned it from a pole barn into my dream shop. Now, when it comes to designing a shop, you can go as simple as you want, or you can go as detailed as you want. The option is up to you, but the purpose of this video is to give you guys my top 5 design additions that I came up with when designing our pole building or shop to maybe inspire you guys when you're going through and designing yours. I'm also gonna go through my top 2 regrets for what I wish we could go back in time and add to our build. And I hope you guys enjoy the video, and let's get started. So welcome to the inside of our shop. Basically, you can see right behind me, we have quite a bit of clutter. I need to build a mezzanine on the back wall, and then we'll store everything up above, and that should tidy up the space really nice. And I bring that up because that is something contractors will build when you're designing a shop. Something to inquire about, just an idea. But getting into design idea number 1, when you're designing a pole barn or a shop, it's my favorite, but it's an underground root cellar. Now, it's a little bit abnormal of a build, I know, but it is a possibility if this is something you're interested in. Check it out. This is our custom engineered hatch. And basically it opens into a nice underground cellar where we can store our pantry items, our food items from the garden, anything you can imagine. So the root cellar itself, all it is a 7 foot by 7 foot by 7 foot tall concrete box, essentially, with a bare earth floor, and it exists obviously beneath the slab of our shop. I'm not going to go fully in depth on the root cellar. I've kind of beat it to death here on the channel, but I will put a link right up here if you guys want to check it out for yourselves. I'll detail the full build and I'll tour it for you guys as well in that video. Right now we're just storing some really basic food items down there, and the plan is as we move forward in life and as time goes on, we're going to store a lot more. But right now the root cellar is maintaining a consistent temperature between 35 and 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's perfect. I couldn't ask for any better. And again, I'm very excited about how this build came out. This is design idea number 1, the root cellar. So we do have a sponsor for today's video, and that is a company known as LBT. Now, LBT, they specialize in tool organization, and in this case, they sent a heavy-duty garden tool organizer. And if you look right behind me, we have a whole stack of garden tools just sitting on the floor, waiting to be mounted on the wall and waiting to be a little more tidy in my shop. So when they reached out, I thought it was a perfect fit. So I'm gonna unbox this, throw it up on the wall, and show you guys what it looks like before and after. Look how much better that looks. That's insane. This looks so good. I am thoroughly impressed. I probably had it installed in 10 to 15 minutes. It was really straightforward, really easy, but it basically comes with 3 heavy-duty powder-coated steel plates that don't feel flimsy at all. They're 16.5 inches long, so you stack them all next to each other, you get the 49.5 inches, and you just screw them into place. And then it comes with a set of miscellaneous hooks and adapters, and they just snap on into place. They can move, they can be adjusted really, really easily, and then it's up to you to basically organize all of your tools. And if you're anything like me, it'll come out great. I am very, very impressed with how this organizer looks in my shop and how it organized all my tools. Now, if you guys are interested in checking out this tool organizer by LBT, go ahead and check the description box down below for the Amazon link. And if you're interested, there will be a discount code down below to snag it as well at a really, really good price. I can't recommend it enough. If you do go to that link, you'll see it's actually the Amazon choice for garage tool organizers, and I think it's for a good reason. I'm thoroughly impressed and think you guys should check it out for yourselves. If you do, let me know what you think. And thank you guys for supporting me and LBT. Now, design idea number 2 for designing your dream shop. It's all about the lean-tos. One on the left, one on the right. I'm gonna take you through my ideas when it came to lean-tos and how we designed them into our build. Now, when it comes to designing a lean-to, at the very least, my recommendation is to make it 12 feet wide. I've talked to multiple people who have complained about only making their lean-tos 10 feet wide, and they just say it's not quite enough room. So this lean-to on the right here is our partially enclosed 12 foot wide lean-to. Now, when I say partially enclosed, it's because the back 30 feet is enclosed. It's like an extension of the interior space of the shop, and the front 10 feet where I'm standing is open. Now my idea of making this a front little open area is that someday it'll be my little grilling station, my outdoor kitchen. You can put a table here, eat. It'll be kind of a nice summertime spot. Now this is essentially looking into that enclosed 12-foot wide lean-to space. I apologize for the clutter. It's my wife's little pottery studio that I'm trying to build in, and we just don't have everything built right now, so it's under construction, if you will. But the plan is to actually wall all these posts off and frame them into their own wall, and then it will be its own little enclosed workshop or studio, if you will. We have a wood stove installed in the back here, so once these walls are framed off, this studio area will be insulated, and then this should heat it really nicely in the wintertime. And by doing that, I don't have to worry about heating the whole shop or losing heat to the whole shop. Now looking back on my estimate and my bid, the partially enclosed 12-foot wide lean-to that I'm standing in right now cost $14,400 added to that base price. Now over here on the left side, we have our fully open 12-foot wide by 40-foot long lean-to. This is probably one of my favorite parts of the entire shop build. It's just a great little outside area for storage for things that I don't necessarily want to put in the shop, such as lumber, if you will. My tractor can easily be stored outside. Again, 12 feet wide is a perfect width in my opinion. I don't feel like everything's too squished, too narrow. There's plenty of room. And this space actually allowed us to put our man door under cover. Now, a lot of shops that I see, you see man doors on the outside, and that's not a bad thing. But when it snows out, when it's full winter, it's really nice having a man door under cover. I don't have to worry about shoveling, snow removal. It's easy to just access, come in, and come out. Now my open lean-to added $11,000 to the bid. Now design idea number 3 for building and designing your dream shop, it actually kind of goes hand in hand with the design idea number 2 of the lean-tos, but that is to make your lean-tos drop-down lean-tos. As you can see, you have the main roof, and it extends to the lean-tos, and then it drops down. The rest of the pitch or slope continues off of that. Now there's a couple of reasons to do drop downs, and let me explain them to you. Reason number 1, aesthetics. In my mind, the drop down lean-to just looks so much cleaner, so much better than a roof that just extends all the way down. Kind of gives that barn look, that farm style shop or pole barn look. I really like it personally. Now reason number 2, doing the drop down lean-to actually gives you the opportunity to change the pitch from the main roof to possibly a steeper or possibly a shallower look if that's something you're kind of going for. Now doing 18-foot high walls like we did made it so we didn't really have to worry about height issues with our lean-to, but if you did something like a 14-foot wall, I could see potentially decreasing the slope in the lean-to being beneficial, so you would have more room underneath the lean-to. Reason number 3 for doing drop downs, picture windows. Let me show you. Now from the main part of the roof, there's obviously a small step down of a couple feet, but that small space allows us to put 2 picture windows on each side. Here's the picture windows on the other side. Now it doesn't look like much, but we do not have lighting in the shop yet. And when the bay doors are all closed up, we basically have a full opportunity at any point of the day for the sun to hit either the windows on this side or this side, and it provides actually a pretty nice amount of natural light that comes in to kind of illuminate the area when we need just a little bit of light. Design idea number 4, it's all about garage doors. Let's talk about them. Now when it comes to garage doors, we actually have 3 on this building, believe it or not. I don't know if you guys saw it in some of the earlier clips, but on the right here we have our 12 by 14 insulated garage door. We have an 8 by 10 insulated garage door, and then in the back left-hand corner under the open lean-to, we actually have an 8 by 8 insulated garage door. Now choosing the number of doors that you actually want for your shop or your pole building is completely up to you, but I think some things to keep in mind is what will you be storing in there? Do you have a really long motorhome, 5th wheel, boat? Do you have multiple vehicles that could go side by side like we do? And if you end up putting multiple garage doors on the front, are you okay with the wall space that it's going to take up, having it installed there instead of a wall? Now this 12 by 14 shop door was actually included in that $36,000 base price for the shop, so I don't actually have the price for it but in comparison, I can give you the price for the 8x10 insulated shop door, and that was $2,050 added to that base price. For now, we opted to go for manually opening our shop doors. They don't break that way, and to be honest, I haven't minded it the last 6 months or so that we've had the shop up and fully running. My wife and I have it kind of worked out. If one of us is leaving, if one of us is in a hurry, then we'll be the automatic garage door openers. We'll go outside before the other person leaves. It's usually me, don't tell her that, but then we'll also close it behind the person when they leave. So this is the 8x8 insulated door that I just mentioned, and it added $1,800 to the base price of our shop build. And there were a few reasons why I wanted this door in the back where it actually is, and that is because I plan to build a workshop onto the back wall of the shop, so I can pull my car, I can pull like a lawnmower in, I can pull my camper in and do maintenance. It really just adds a lot of versatility for what I can store in here, what I can do, and just having it as an option I think is really, really nice. This isn't even one of my regrets for the last part of the video, but if I could go back in time, I would probably make this an 8x10 garage door. Our lean-tos are pretty tall, so having that extra 2 feet in height I think would be really nice. 8 feet tall really isn't that high for some trucks, some cars, what have you. When doing my research for my design for our pole barn, I actually saw that a lot of people actually put garage doors on the back of their shop as well, and that would be really nice for doing a pull-through style garage door entry and exit type system, if you will. And to me that would be really nice. We're a little bit limited on space back here, but whew, it gets me excited just thinking about it. Now when it comes to garage doors, I wanted to give this honorable mention when it comes to design. Think about high lift garage doors and if you would need one. My contractor just randomly threw it out one day when the build was already starting, and it's something that I'm glad I went with. So if you see the 12x14 garage door over here, see how it's all the way up, but there's still a little bit of the garage door kind of down, if you will. But then over here on the 8x10, you don't see any garage door. That's because we installed a high lift door on the 8x10 and also the 8x8 in the back. But basically it extends the rail that the garage door kind of slides up on, and that makes it so you can push the 8x10 all the way up, so you can actually max out that space of the 8x10 foot length versus the 12x14 where you're going to have that little bit of garage door hanging down because the rail basically just goes up to the opening of that 14-foot height, and then you're going to have that little bit of garage door kind of sticking down. I hope I explained that well. High lift garage doors, something to keep in mind, look them up. Now doing high lift garage doors, they added $400 per door, so $400 added to the 8x10 foot garage door and $400 added to the 8x8. So fifth and final design idea, this is actually a pretty simple one, straightforward. It's actually overhangs. Now I encourage you to walk the block, walk a neighborhood, look at shops before you even begin designing. And when you actually look at shops, you'll notice that some actually have an overhang and some don't. Now I think pretty standard is an 18-inch overhang or 2-foot overhang, and our building is actually 2 feet, and it's been so nice when it rains, when it snows, because it protects this area just outside of the actual walls of the shop, keeps snow out. When rain actually falls off the roof, it actually hits and falls pretty far from the shop. It keeps the concrete of the front patio dry. It's really nice. It's something to keep in mind. Now the 2-foot overhang on my building was actually included in the base price, so I don't actually have the actual cost of it, but that's design idea number 5. So those are my top 5 design ideas. Let's talk my top 2 regrets for our build. Now my top 2 regrets basically have to do with the concrete floor. Were these things something I actually really thought about when we were designing it? No. But looking back on it, could we have done it? Probably not, because we were at our max budget with this build anyways. But if I could go back in time, I would actually make the slab of our concrete floor 6 inches and not 4 inches. A couple reasons why. I plan on building a mezzanine on this entire back wall, meaning I'm going to need to anchor in posts into the concrete, and I'm just afraid the 4-inch slab might not be strong enough, so I need to do a little bit of research on the correct way to do it. It just makes me a little bit nervous. 6 inches would be much more beefier, a lot more sturdy, and I know for a fact I wouldn't have to worry about it. Now regret number 2 also has to do with the concrete floor, and basically if I could go back in time, if I had a max budget, and if I would have thought about it, I would have loved to have the floors insulated. Here in northern Idaho, we have pretty cold winters. The ground is cold. It seeps and it comes right through the concrete, and it just chills the space. If it was insulated, it would really help make warming the shop, especially the enclosed lean-to space. It would make it much more efficient to heat with our wood stove. If I could go back in time, I would absolutely insulate the shop floor. Now, concrete and insulation is very expensive. I don't even want to know what that would have added to the final price of the build, and honestly, we couldn't have afforded it anyways. It's just shoulda, woulda, coulda, if I could have. Those are just two instances, two ideas where if I could go back in time, if I had the money, I absolutely would have done that. 6-inch slab, insulated concrete floors. So that is it, my top 5 design ideas when building your pole barn or shop to turn it into a dream shop, and my 2 regrets if I could go back in time and do it over again, and if I had a lot more money. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Big thank you to LBT for sending me the garage tool or garden tool organizer. Be sure to check the description box down below. Check out that product, check out the discount code. You will not be disappointed with the product. I've had it hanging on the wall now for a couple of days, and I am so happy with how it's performing. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a big thumbs up on it, comment down below, and subscribe to the Idaho Panhandlers. We will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.